When the top-spec next-gen Ford Territory Titanium X was released, it raised quite a few eyebrows, mainly because of that price jump from the previous gen. Well, in this video, we are going to check out the top-spec Ford Territory Titanium X right here to see if it's worth that asking price. Let's do this. The launch of the next-gen Ford Territory brought about two surprises. First is the downgrade of the titanium trim to a base model, with this Titanium X taking the top spot, and two, well, the price increase of the now top-spec Territory Titanium X. See, at 1,599,000 Philippine pesos, the Ford Territory Titanium X is at the same price level as the mid-size crossovers from the Middle Kingdom. That's China, by the way. So, can the Ford Territory Titanium X justify that asking price, considering that A, it's also assembled in China, and B, it's classified as a compact crossover? Let's find out. Here at Reagan's Rides, we do car reviews of SUVs, sports cars, trucks, and everything in between. So subscribe and hit the bell. I understand the sticker shock that came with the release of this top-spec Territory Titanium X. I mean, blame it on the first-gen Ford Territory, which firmly established itself as a value compact crossover that offers you much more than what you pay for. But to compare this next-gen Territory Titanium X to the previous model does not do this car any justice. You see, this Territory Titanium X is huge. It's ginormous, dude, pare. I mean, when you compare it to the first-gen Territory, it actually feels like a mid-size crossover instead of a compact crossover. And if you consider it, that increase in size is in fact a huge upgrade from the previous model in the literal sense of the word. Now, aside from that increase in overall dimensions and space, well, we do have more power on tap here. The 1.5-liter Turbo 4 now delivers more power at 160 PS and 248 Nm of torque. The transmission has also been changed to a 7-speed wet-type dual-clutch transmission versus the CVT found in the previous gen. Now, this 7-speed wet-type dual-clutch is fantastic for lightning-quick upshifts and, of course, the fuel economy, but I did notice a bit of lag when you're shifting from neutral to first gear, which is pretty much expected from dual clutches, but it is a little bit more pronounced in this Territory Titanium X. It's also a bit of a shame that we don't get paddle shifters here, considering the asking price of this vehicle and, of course, that added power that we already have. The steering feel is also a major improvement from the previous gen Ford Territory. Now, the steering itself feels like the same steering feel as the base spec Territory Titanium because it feels nice and properly weighted, and you do get a good level of response and sharpness for the vehicle category. In fact, my drive experience with this Territory Titanium X is pretty much, well, identical to the base spec Ford Territory Titanium, which is expected because we practically have the same mechanical bits in both vehicles. So, if the Ford Territory Titanium X, this top-spec model, delivers the same driving experience as the base spec Ford Territory Titanium, then why the heck would you even pay 260,000 Philippine pesos more just to get this top-spec variant anyway? So if you're looking for the answer right here up front, well, pare, you're not gonna see anything here. I mean, this front fascia is exactly identical to the front fascia of the base spec Territory Titanium. That means that we still have LED DRLs found here up top, we have the LED headlight units found here on the front bumper, and we also have this integrated honeycomb front grille right there. So if the front fascia of this top-spec Titanium X is exactly the same as the base spec Territory Titanium, Exactly. You know, my friend Ju of Soju Cars loves it whenever I say that. Exactly. Shout out to you, Ju. Soju Cars, subscribe to his channel as well. Anyway, if the front fascia of this top-spec model is exactly the same as the base spec Territory Titanium, maybe there are changes made to the side of this vehicle. Let's go and check it out. Alright, so when we go here to the side, you will see the first couple of upgrades, real upgrades that we have here in the top-spec Territory Titanium X when you compare it to the base trim Territory Titanium. First up, check out the wheels. I mean, if you look at the wheel size, they look kind of small, especially for this big body. But dude, pare, I'm telling you, these are 19-inch alloy wheels. Oh yeah, the base trim Territory Titanium only gets 18, so can you imagine just how tiny those wheels look on this body? Now this 19-inch alloy wheels still look pretty small, so in my opinion, a set of 20s would fit this Territory Titanium X a lot better. Now aside from that, the second change or upgrade we have here is that this top-spec model also comes with puddle lamps. Now the puddle lamps doesn't have the Ford logo on it. It doesn't even have the Territory name on it. You know, it's just a circle of light. It's a blank circle of light, but at least it's there and it will help guide you get into your car and help prevent you from stepping on something nasty when you're, let's say, getting inside or outside your Ford Territory Titanium X on a rainy night. Now, other than that, everything else pretty much remains exactly identical to the base spec Territory Titanium. That means that we have power folding side mirrors with LED turn signals here. We have these tiny fins on the A-pillar, which I do believe helps with the reduction of the cabin noise, the wind noise inside. And we also have the same mechanical bits found behind the wheels. That means that we have four-wheel disc brakes here, similar to the base spec Territory Titanium. And for the suspension, we are rocking MacPherson's up front and a multi-link rear suspension. Now, the ground clearance is still at 190 millimeters, which is perfectly standard for a compact. I mean, yeah, for a compact crossover. I mean, yeah, it's still a compact crossover, but it really looks like a mid-size, yeah? Alright, so majority of the upgrades for this top-spec Titanium X can be found right here inside the cabin, which is the right place to be. I mean, it's exactly where you want all of the upgrades to be in because you will spend 100% of your time inside the car's cabin anyway. Now, this cabin, guys, it looks more premium, it feels more premium, and it also smells more premium. Now that's because we have this combination of light gray with some off-white, you know, creamy white panels here. They look really good for the eyes, paired with this engineered wood that we have here on the middle dashboard and on the door cards. Plus, we also have full leather seats here. These are full ventilated leather seats. Mind you, they are ventilated leather seats, so it's going to keep your bum cool on a hot summer day. And these full leather seats actually smell much better than the partial leather seats that I encountered in the base spec Territory Titanium. Now we also have a full leather wrap steering wheel here, nice and meaty, and this steering wheel also adjusts for tilt and it also telescopes. So yep, that is also a good benefit there. Now the instrument gauge cluster of this top-spec Titanium X is also a bit larger. This is a 12-inch digital instrument gauge cluster here versus the 7-inch digital gauge cluster of the base trim. Now that's not really a deal breaker for me because, well, either 7-inch or 12-inch, both works. So yeah, it's not a biggie for me. Now we also have a 12-inch touchscreen infotainment system here that now powers 8 speakers versus the 6 speakers of the base trim, although the sound quality is just about average for me. I mean, they just sound like any stock speaker system out there. But we do have wireless Apple CarPlay, wireless Android Auto, as well as the image of a full HD 360-degree view camera image here. So those are really good points to have. Now, the wireless capability of the infotainment system is complemented by a wireless charging pad here, similar to the base trim Territory Titanium, although the wireless charge pad is not a quick charging charge pad there. So yeah, keep that in mind. You have to just keep that in mind. Now, we also have a rotary shift knob here, which you might take some getting used to if you're used to a stick shift, you know. And we also have the usual buttons here in the center console for your electronic park brake, for your controls for your infotainment system, and whatnot. Now, the biggest upgrade here inside is the fact that we have this. We have a huge, and I mean huge, panoramic sunroof there, which truly elevates that premium riding experience in this top-spec Territory Titanium X. Another huge upgrade of the Titanium X over the base trim Ford Territory Titanium are the advanced driver assist aids. As you're seeing on your screen, we do get the full list of nannies here and driver assist features, which should help keep your drive safe at all times. When it comes to fuel economy, the next-gen Territory Titanium X also solves a little bit that fuel efficiency concern that the previous gen Territory had. They did this by adding a start-stop system where the engine cuts off when you're idling in traffic. Now, this helped the Territory Titanium X get a city fuel economy figure of 10 kilometers per liter, so it's a marginal improvement from the previous gen. However, the highway fuel economy, it's a bit low though, because the most I was able to get was 14 kilometers per liter on the highway. You can also switch to eco mode. I did that when I did my test. I put it on eco mode in order to maximize on your fuel economy. But if you want to change drive modes, that means that you have to dive into the infotainment system. I mean, get out of Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, dive into the vehicle safety area, and that's where you can toggle between the different drive modes. So it's not really the most ideal way of doing things, but heck, well, it is what it is. Now anyway, as for the ride comfort at the back as well as the overall space and amenities, let's go and check it out. Alright, so when you get to the back seat of the Territory Titanium X, you will see two things that makes this vehicle such a huge hit here in the Philippines. First, we get a ton of space here. I mean, is this even a compact crossover? I mean, it's classified as a compact crossover, but dude, pare, we've got enough space here to rival mid-size SUVs and mid-size crossovers out there. I mean, we have a ton of space. It's in fact large enough to make babies here in the back seat. Yeah, if you get my drift. Now, if you pair that with a panoramic sunroof that we have in this top-spec Titanium X, oh yes, you've got a great amount of atmosphere and ambiance here at the back, such that your drive will be so much more comfortable. Now, the second reason why the Territory Titanium X is such an ideal road trip vehicle is, well, the NVH. I mean, we've been driving on the highway and, dude, it is so quiet here. It's so quiet, it's so refined. It feels like I'm riding in a Euro luxury premium SUV. I mean, it is that good. And considering that we have that panoramic sunroof and the NVH levels is simply superb, I mean, I don't know what kind of insulation Ford did with this Titanium X, but it worked, pare. It worked. Now, aside from that, we also have the usual amenities here at the back. We have a solo USB-A charge port there. A bit of a bummer that we don't get a Type-C. But we also have a pair of rear AC vents, as well as this center armrest with, of course, a pair of cup holders. Now, the rear end of the top-spec Territory Titanium X might be similar to the base-spec Territory Titanium, but we do get a big upgrade here. Well, we have a power liftgate, and once you open that power liftgate, you will see that we have the exact same cargo capacity here at the back at 448 liters. Now, 448 liters might not seem like much, but it is still enough to swallow my large Sky Travel luggage right here. See? put my large sky travel luggage there. We can put a second one right here beside it and a third one on top, provided that you just remove this tonneau cover right here. Now, if you're looking for the spare tire, fret not. Well, the Territory Titanium X also comes with a spare tire underneath the floorboard. And this spare tire is just a donut spare tire, but at least it is still much better than a fix-a-flat. So, did the Territory Titanium X justify that asking price? Well, consider this. For those who are under a tight budget and just wants the space, looks, and drive feel of the next-gen Ford Territory, the base spec Titanium is already a good choice. But for those who do not want to compromise and are willing to pay for the best features, space, and safety in the category, then this Ford Territory Titanium X is worth every penny. Thanks for watching.